That's
It's
why I
not
don't
going to
like
end
it
badly, you guys.
when Mint Salad was insulting.
Guys, it's not going to end badly for you. You have no principles. You have no Comicsgate principles. Why would it end badly for you? No principles. No principles. No principles.
A few moments later.
I just want to live in a world where you can't make AI-generated pornography of Anna without the FBI showing up and putting you in jail. It's perfectly legal to make AI-generated pornography of my friend Anna.
Looks like 2025 is going to end on quite a banger. The subject for this video is how criticism is weaponized in indie comics and how the shrinking Comicsgate responds to criticism. It's important to remember that Ethan Van Sciver famously lectured Eric July on receiving criticism, that you can accept it or ignore it. The advice is pretty sound, except Van Sciver does not follow this advice for himself at all. He's a complete hypocrite when it comes to criticism levied at him.
I support everyone's anger and hostility at all times.
Unless it's towards you.
I encourage everybody's anger.
Unless it's towards you, Ethan.
Yeah, that's kind of been one of the themes of 2025 is, CG saying, well, Eric July can't take criticism, but then when it's turned towards them, we found that in 2025, Comicsgate is the ones that cannot take criticism. So, yeah, Shane kind of called it out right there.
Leave all this behind. Get a good job. Hey, Sean Allen, why don't you go fuck yourself? This is my job. It's been my job my entire life.
In this video, we go over what valid criticism is versus criticism used as a tool of malice, a means to suppress dissenting voices and flex one's ego. If you're new to this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I do a lot of these kinds of videos, documentaries, and I keep it related to comics somehow. Yes, this will go back to comics. When I launched my Pumpkin War Patch Kickstarter back in October, Comicsgate couldn't wait to offer their criticism of my art because, well, reasons. Even though my stuff is a callback to the 60s and 70s underground comics movement, which I covered on my Indie Comic Outliers live streams, it doesn't mean I can't do live drawings. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback on my weekly monster drawings. Most recently, my Gremlins drawing of Stripe broke 1,000 views on YouTube and is doing well on Instagram. Now she has zero authority to be criticizing anyone's art. Mint Salad does. Like, her shit is not that good, and she's clearly not interested in getting better, and she should know her place, in my opinion. But whatever. Karma's taking care of her.
Wait, okay. Pause that.
Pause
that. So he's saying Mint Salad has no room to criticize anybody's artwork because of the way she draws. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay. So by that take, Harassment has no room to criticize anybody because of the way he draws.
Well, that's true too. But he threw in the caveat, like, not interested in getting better. I think Mint Salad is as interested in getting better at drawing as Harassment is.
This is funny coming from EBS when he recently retweeted my video drawing of the Gill Man from Creature from the Black Lagoon, and he not only retweeted it with a caption of "Hell yeah," implying he's a fan, but he also retweeted it when I sold the drawing. Ethan doesn't want to let his audience know that he's been a fan of my work for a while.
I have the book. I read some of it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like Azmat.
Yeah, I like him as a person. I wasn't sure about his comics, but his comics are really good.
When he now goes back and trashes my art, he's only proving what others have already guessed about his reviews. They're disingenuous. Now let's go back to the stuff about Mint Salad. Not surprisingly, Ethan and Shane Davis have misrepresented my point. So allow me to criticize their assessment, and they can either accept my critique of their poor assessment, or they can ignore it. Mint Salad took it upon herself one day to enter my thread and critique my Pumpkin War Patch artwork. She was one of many. Mind you, I didn't reply or say anything in response. I understand how this space works. This is the Wild West of the internet. You put your stuff out there, you can accept both the good and bad reactions. I did find it amusing that her and a bunch of others had a problem with how I did my anatomy. I sometimes wonder how these snowflakes survived the years Aeon Flux was popular on MTV. I mean, if you want to talk about accurate anatomy, Aeon Flux was not it. And you know what? The average viewer didn't give a shit. They enjoyed the show for what it was. The reason I brought up Ms. Sal's criticism was because of some recent revelations about her that have come to light, which now recontextualizes her initial criticism of my artwork, and not just mine, but of anyone else's artwork. These revelations come from both Vito Gesualdi of Superkiller and her former boyfriend, Riley Mix. She and Riley had a messy and public breakup which saw Mint run off with Schizo Sean, a man whose shtick is wearing a bunny suit and invading people's personal property and space. More on that in a bit. But in the clip of her DM group, Riley critiqued Mint's thumbnail for the Dick Masterson show, calling it the laziest thumbnail she's ever done, and that she would never improve at anything. After this criticism, it appeared that Mint and Schizo Sean left the group, although according to some reports, they were kicked before they could respond. Riley would repeat that claim that Mint never wanted to improve. But now let's get into some rather shocking revelations from Vito regarding a drawing of Yoda Mint did for the King show. I'll compare her Yoda to mine, and I'll let you be the judge of which one is better. But according to Vito, Mint Salad traced her drawing of Yoda, a drawing that sold for more money than the other King's artwork that same night.
You want to be an artist? Plenty of fucking things to study to become an artist. Don't just trace pictures of Yoda on a fucking live stream. Mint Salad is nothing.
Whoa. Trace pictures of Yoda?
Yeah, that
Wait
was
a minute.
that was a reference to something that I believe she sold on Evan's channel.
I was getting ready to say, Pan, isn't that the time that she came on and showed or sold the retarded Yoda? But I didn't know it was traced.
And she did a retarded cyber frog too. Yeah, I didn't know it was traced.
Well, he's also trying to, throw my good friend Harassment under the bus here, and it's kind of fucked up because, this bitch is known to trace on live streams.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think Harassment can criticize her art. I think he has that right.
I think you sure can when you actually freehand your drawings and you're actually drawing it yourself and not just tracing lines. Being a dumb autistic whore on the internet, making refrigerator art. I don't know if you can really compare that to an actual artist.
Speaking of Dick Masterson, he had taken Vito to task for reading a simple super chat about the Mint Salad and Riley breakup. The subject of Schizo Sean trespassing on private property came up, with Masterson seemingly not showing he had any problem with Sean doing that to Vito.
Now it's interesting talking about those guys to you. Now it's interesting.
I don't know. I guess it's
interesting to you. Yeah, now you want to talk about those guys, right? Because it's funny drama.
Yeah, what's funny drama?
It was funny drama when they were fucking with you. That's the point. And you threw a big fit about it. It was always funny. It's always been funny to talk about those guys. Always.
The difference is coming to my house is not funny.
It didn't start with coming to your house. It started with just busting your balls. Then Schizo Sean came to your house. Whatever, you're going out fucking with him. You're having lunch with him. I don't know.
Up. I don't like it.
Yeah, no one fucking cares. No one fucking cares how fucked up it is.
It should be noted that Masterson himself proves to be a hypocrite and unwilling to either accept or ignore criticism when the subject of that one time when a member of Podawful's team tossed an inflatable cow onto Masterson's truck. Masterson apparently blocks anyone who mentions this or even tags Jesse. The inflatable cow is due to Masterson allegedly dressing up as a cow and, allowing international objects up his nether regions. I did not want to be direct on that one. Most recently, Katie did. A woman who has gained notoriety for stealing other people's content and putting it behind a paywall was at one time a fan of my artwork and my books, until one day the call was out and she was no longer a fan.
Rich also left the CGDM groups hours before the stream. That didn't help. I guess regarding toning, I know at one point, I don't know if it was before or after, but he left a lot of the rooms. He left the CG Green room a couple weeks back. He didn't like how the Jimmy and Christian Faith was handled. I told him, that's okay, I understand, I just want to make sure you're okay. Rich had sent me a message. I'm not going to show DMs. I'll read what he told me.
Like EBS, the man she calls Sir, Katie also flip-flops on her reviews. Most recently, Richard Embry, the writer for The Blood and the Sword, left CG, but left it privately and confided with, of all people, Katie did. Well, she didn't leave it private.
This. I got several copies. So I got 2 copies of this, and 2 copies, I believe, of the issue number 2. and y'all have chose to snip. So that is what I'll do. The rest I'm going to burn. Maybe I'll make a video of it. I know people are going to be like, oh, she's burning books. Oh, this isn't supporting indie comics. Oh, she's just hurting indie comics. No, what hurts indie comics is people who take advantage of your kindness and your friendship, and you go out of your way to promote them and defend them and be their friend and be there when they need you, and then to find out that they'd rather go hang out with a bunch of pieces of shit. So my children will not be reading these books. I refuse to give my kids these books to a man that literally treated their mother like absolute garbage.
After Embry took her to task for making his private conversation content for her channel, she went ahead and trashed his book, a book she promoted and gave good reviews for. Embry received some support for his stance. EVS predictably made Embry another one of his targets. When he was taken to task for this, Ethan kindly replied with, "Oh, shut the fuck up," because he knows how to accept or ignore criticism. Speaking of accepting criticism, it has come to light that Katydid has been abusing her wrenches on other people's channels by deleting comments not favorable to CG. Comicsgate, a group of people who tell you you must accept criticism or ignore it, seem to encourage a woman deleting critical comments. This is antithetical to the mantra of accepting or ignoring criticism.
Eric July is a different situation, and that Eric July can't take criticism, and that's all this is. He should be able to make comics all he wants.
Can you take criticism?
Sure.
Okay, I legitimately think your comics are too busy. You need to lean more into a cartoonier nature of it. I need, you know what?
You know Van Sciver? You know his work?
He's a friend of mine. He's on my show often. Yes, I'm very. His is one of the few modern comics that I enjoy. Butch Gilligan.
Sven Stoffels was the artist for All Caps Comics' Heather Swain book. In my personal opinion, I like Sven Stoffels' art style, but it seemed there were many who did not like it. And one vocal critic in particular was Ripoffverse, also known as the puppet guy who did those puppet videos for Trashcast. His critique seemed very harsh and direct, even alleging that Stoffels was using alt accounts to praise his own artwork. Ripoffverse even said that he was part of 10 DM groups, 9 of which doesn't have Ethan Van Sciver in them, and were tearing apart Stoffels' artwork. The one group that wasn't tearing it apart was the one that Ethan was in.
I support everyone's anger and hostility at all times.
Unless it's towards you.
I encourage everyone's anger.
Unless it's towards you, Ethan.
Yeah, that's kind of been one of the themes of 2025 is, CG saying, well, Eric July can't take criticism, but then when it's turned towards them, we found that in 2025, Comicsgate is the ones that cannot take criticism. So, yeah, Shane kind of called it out right there.
Is there a bring back puppet shows tier? Says Hamilton Burger 6440. Yeah, I think we're done with the puppet shows, guys. I think we're finished with them. I'm sorry to say.
EVS, not dealing well with Ripoffverse's criticism, severed all ties with him. The puppet guy had done a lot of videos for Ethan, including one that featured Dan Fraga's kids. Fraga, it seemed, took it into stride and even paid Ripoffverse to have his puppet shipped to him. It all came to a head when Sven Stoffels finally snapped and unleashed on Ripoffverse.
I gotta call out this guy here. This one guy, he's on my ass. This guy's such a fucking he does a bunch of stuff for Ethan Van Sciver, so Ethan can't really say anything. Where is this nigga? So everybody's positive. This looks great. Looks amazing. And then this guy, he makes like puppet stuff.
Oh no.
He's like, oh, this is but he's never direct. But he was even shitting on Butch Gilligan like a year ago. This guy, like, somehow he hates me. I'm hearing from certain people that he's jealous because he wanted to do this gig.
Ah, that makes sense.
I can't see it. Well, this is the Ripoffverse guy. Ripoffverse, you're a fucking fuck you. I'm coming after you. You're gay and you're jealous and you're a homo. Fuck you, bitch. Bitch ass nigga. Go make your puppets. All right, that's for Ripoffverse. But I like that guy. I like that. I'm laughing at his stuff. But he keeps ankle biting me for no reason. He's like, oh, fuck this. This looks like shit. Like, even Butch Gilligan said, oh, this looks like Cartoon Network crap. Like, dude, why are you coming after me for no reason? I like that guy. And now I gotta
obviously
hate him.
some bitter artist of some kind.
Well, he's a bitch ass, and I'm coming after him. Basically, he's dead.
Yeah, ruin him.
Not
Destroy him.
figuratively, for real. No, just kidding. That's because he'll report this because he's an ankle biting, jealous pussy ass nigga.
2025 saw Ethan and John Malin continuing to monitor people who either directly or indirectly criticize Comicsgate. Remember, EVS said you can accept the criticism or you can ignore it. But as he and John Malin have proved, they can do neither. As shown with how Katydid abuses her wrench, Ethan is more intent on creating his own hug box and safe space away from critics so he can continue criticizing Eric July and anyone else he considers a threat.
Where did you get that made?
That's for Eric July. They sent that to the wrong person. I'm supposed to get Eric
Oh.
July.
Wait, what?
No, it says I looked. It said Ethan Van Sciver. It doesn't say Eric July.
Yeah.
Holy
No,
fat
dipshit.
man, he looks sloshed.
Dipshit didn't deliver any books this year, so how is he going to get any type of legitimate trophy? I mean, your job is to deliver books. Are you not a comic book professional? Well, no, you're not, because you rely on these fake trophies. And this guy, fucking doofus Alex Stein, who doesn't know shit about shit in Comicsgate, can see right through your bullshit.
I'll keep you and cherish you. I'll even take you to bed with me every night.
Ethan, when announcing his CG United book, which is supposed to be a crossover non-canonical book featuring some of the remaining CG characters, did not take kindly to the criticism that the villains would be a retread of established Marvel and DC characters.
Look, our favorite, look at this. Of course, the Green Lantern. You have nothing original. Prophet, what are you talking about? All my stuff is original. Why do you say that I have nothing original? You understand what the point of this is. The point of this isn't to be original. The point of this is to make a statement about the superheroes of Marvel and DC. And I would, if I were going to make like a rip-off of the superheroes of Marvel and DC for Cyberfrog to fight, to demonstrate that he's a better hero and has a better heart, then it would be the Green Lanterns, just because they're attached to, they're associated with me. Sometimes I feel like I'm not communicating properly to people, and they don't understand.
John Malin continued stalking Irene Strakowski on X in some rather creepy tweets, and his artwork was taken to task by the Ripoff Verse guy. And Malin, as predicted, chose to neither accept or ignore the criticism. If you've been seeing a pattern here, it's that Ethan, Malin, and anyone else associated with Comicsgate understand the kind of criticism they give out is meant solely for the purpose of invalidation, because when they receive criticism, they respond like they've been called the N-word.
Okay. Yeah. Was it a holographic cover?
Chromium. Yeah, see the back?
Collectible. Can I see a little of the inside art? Covers are one thing, but inside art. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are some good drawings. I hate that style of coloring.
What style is that?
That modern digital coloring that most comic books have. It's the most comic books. So you're not like unique in this way. That for me, it looks messy. It looks like it's unreadable in a way. But yeah,
you think so?
I do. I legitimately do. Yeah. I'm not saying that about yours specifically. There's the thing with comic books is like the more realistic they start to look, the worse they are, because the closer you're trying to get to reality with your drawings on it, the less it is easy to make out what you're even looking at.
Thank you for having a normal conversation with me instead of, let's have a conversation about comics and art. Could we? Do we have to talk about gay, like, internet shit? Do we have to be degrading, or can we have a conversation?
I just wanted to know if you were throat goat. I was going to clap for you.
I know. I seen it on the talk.
Like, for instance, like your Cyberfrog guy, right? He's got I think this is very important. A comic book character, especially a more, I don't know how to word this, but cartoonier maybe one, like a Cyberfrog. It's important that they have a very strong silhouette. I feel you should be able to like make them out in any panel instantly. It should be very obvious.
I agree.
And he certainly has a strong silhouette. However, my criticism of him would be that in silhouette, it looks like this is meant to be some sort of insectoid character. The strange spikes on his shoulder, it kind of looks like wing. He's very insectoid looking. in a way. And I took a look. I'm taking a look right now at some of your
You
comics.
can see it behind me there.
Yeah, I've opened it up in front of me here on my computer, and I'm taking a look at some of these. The panels are very busy. I think this is an extremely big problem with modern, and it has been for like over a decade with modern comic books. Is everything is like it's detailed down to the last fucking thing, and it's so busy, and I can't make out anything.
You know who
happening.
else said that? Vito said that.
And
so you and Vito agree.
That is one thing that he clearly is attempting to do, is simplify it. I think he's gone maybe a little too far in the other direction with it. Maybe I'm too much of a Goldilocks here with this. But I do think that, like, for instance, York, I'm looking at your character right here. He's got all this crisscross fucking applesauce shit on his arm. Like, it's got to be fucking annoying drawing that shit all the time. No wonder it's taken forever for these books, right?
Yeah, it takes a while to draw the character.
You gotta
Anybody
simplify
who's
this.
drawn them says that.
You
It's
ever-
complicated?
Yeah, that sucks. Like, that sucks not just for you to draw and for whoever else might draw it. You draw them, right? You're not just the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do both.
Sorry, I'm just making sure. But you know, that sucks not just for them, but it sucks for the reader, because then every panel, it's like, it's got that busy work in it. You know who does a good job is, do you know Gabriel Ba? He's got a very cartoony style, Gabriel Ba, and he can do these overly detailed. I'm not saying everybody has to be like this, but you can do these overly detailed things, and then in a panel where it doesn't matter, it's like the character is basically a blob. It's like, I know it seems like it's more bang for your buck to have these super detailed, almost photo real type panels going on where it's like every little detail is always drawn in, but in reality it's a slog for the eyes. See, I don't even know what I'm looking at there, man.
I know, but that's Salamandroid here. That's his big brother. That's Cyberfrog. And what you call a slog for the eyes, other people really enjoy.
I know.
They might call it a feast for the eyes.
I know, but in every panel, you know what? If everything,
there's a lot to look at.
If everything's a feast, then nothing's a feast.
Well, I mean, that's just, let me just agree to disagree.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
As somebody who's been doing this for a long time.
The overly complicated colors, too. I think maybe you could even just get it down to simplifying the colors, and it might improve things to some degree.
You hear that, Kyle?
Now, don't say...
No, he doesn't.
Now, don't throw the...
Sorry, Kyle.
Don't throw the whole, I've been doing this a long time. This is a valid criticism. You do accept criticism, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm just giving you a little bit of criticism, and there are certain aspects of your main character that are confusing to somebody new like me. Like, I just saw a cover of Cyberfrog here in front of me where he's got like a corpse sliding down the spike on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I just clicked away from it, unfortunately, but it took me like 5 fucking minutes here of staring at it to understand what was happening in that picture, because it's so, I don't know.
What Jesse is talking about is an interesting item mentioned in Scott McCloud's iconic book, Understanding Comics. McCloud brings up the variance of abstraction in pictures. Why is it just as real to accept a face drawn as simple as 2 dots and a line? What is the secret of the icon referred to as the cartoon? McCloud asks, why would anyone respond to a cartoon as much or more than a realistic image? He states it's because we're not eliminating details, but rather focusing on specific ones. By stripping down an image to its essential meaning, an artist can amplify that meaning in a way realistic art cannot. In layman's terms, it means by making the subject of the cartoon visually simple, it allows the brain to focus more on the personality of the character rather than just look at the complex, pretty pictures. It's a variation of substance over style. This is also known as the universality of cartoon imagery. The more simple a face is drawn, the more people can relate to it. This is why comics, such as Peanuts, have enjoyed decades of success. Enough so that Sony bought up to 80% share in ownership of the IP recently. This was Jesse's point and why he argued for having EVS lean Cyberfrog to a more cartoony style. Ethan visibly did not accept or ignore the advice. Podawful's take represents the more normie take on comic art, and this is why Scott McCloud, Daniel Clowes, and Johnny Ryan have enjoyed great success with their works. One of the more notorious examples of someone not taking or ignoring criticism was when BTM Reviews reviewed Cyberfrog Dark Harvest. Ethan did not take kindly to this one at all.
It's really nice looking art. A bunch of stuff going on. It says Cyberfrog Dark Harvest.
That neither Dave and I can see because it's so busy.
Right. Like
I can't see what's in there.
This is like the pictures in the mall in the 80s when you say, I don't see shit, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? There's a goddamn flamingo in that picture. What are you talking about?
So there's 70 more pages of this, right, Dave? 70 more pages.
Yeah. So I waited this long for this.
This is tiny. I was joking about, were there 40 or 50 pages, but
it's not even 10 pages a story. I didn't know there was a part 1 and part 2 of this fucking series in the same goddamn book.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Dude, just give me something I can read and see what's happening on the page, but I don't need to fucking get lost in the art and not know what's going on in the story.
I know I'm doing great work. I know it. I listen to this and I go, oh, guys, you're missing it. I know I'm doing great work. I can't be dissuaded from that. Nobody is going to tell me you're not doing great work. I know that I am. I could send this to Jeff Johns right now, and he would fucking love it, Shane. He would love it.
I've got that Jay Lee Wreck Planet preview book signed by him, signed by you, on eBay right now for $90. I need it because my car just got totaled in a hailstorm. Aside from that, I like.
Wait, what did you say? You needed it? Did you sell it?
It did not sell. Ethan, it's not selling. I don't care. It's okay though. Yeah.
Also, Ethan has been criticized for how slow he is with getting his books done. He and his followers have convinced themselves that good art takes time, and therefore being years late on a book is acceptable. But listen to what Darwin Cook said.
Don't let anybody tell you different, okay? The reason these things don't get done in time is because they don't work on them. It's not because it's impossible. It's not because the guy's putting so much into it that it just can't be done, okay? They're just not working at speed. 10 years, I've never had a book ship late because I didn't deliver. I've had books ship late, but it's because Ethan Van Sciver can't get his shit together.
Wait. Let's hear that part again.
I've had books ship late, but it's because Ethan Van Sciver can't get his shit together.
It's so real.
I think Eric like gets it. Like he's handled, for what it's worth, he's handled all the shit thrown at him pretty good. I'm sure behind the scenes he's talking about it and how it's pissing him off, but I'm sure they're telling him, "You're doing great, man."
I'm sure behind this book, like, man, I wish this guy would leave it alone. But
exactly, yeah. And I know for a fact that there's some conversations
happening. Well, one, he says, I know for a fact there's some conversations happening. That's interesting. But what did Eric handle good? Like, I mean, and I'm not trying to sidetrack here, but like when he said that, it's like it's like saying the Titanic is handling the iceberg really well.
It's unsinkable.
Yeah, it's handling the iceberg really well, Ethan. The Titanic is handling the iceberg really well.
It seemed to for a couple hours.
For a couple hours, yeah, it was handling it really well. Like what? I don't think anybody can look at Eric and says, you know what, he's handled it really well. Like, the proof is in the pudding, man. Look at the numbers. He hasn't handled anything well.
When I commended Eric July for how well he's handled the criticism in the last couple of years and how he's responded to the harassment and slander levied at him, Shane Davis apparently seemed appalled at that notion. For one, July still makes millions on his books. He hasn't made them individually, but collectively he's outsold the entirety of CG every year. Second, when Schizo Sean, the guy in the pink bunny suit, raided a con and attempted to disrupt July's meeting with a fan, security had to get involved. Ethan enjoyed and encouraged the harassment. When Dan Fraga attempted a handshake at Heroes Con, it rattled Shane Davis so hard he had to wire himself the next day for a confrontation with Fraga. This embarrassing incident over a handshake reflected Shane Davis' poor behavior as well as the hypocrisy of Ethan Van Sciver. By the way, this was all covered in 2 of my videos, Heroes Con and the Handshake Incident, Comicsgate is Overdramatizing, and Shane Davis and his audio of Dan Fraga, highlights Comicsgate's inconsistency on convention harassment. I refer to Ethan's tweet from December 2017 when he said criticism should be heard but not necessarily always taken to heart. Decide who you are and be the best version of you that you can. Different advice than what he gave Eric July and others years later.
Why don't you just take the tissues out and it'll fall off? You signed the non-disclosure agreement. I hope you have good lawyers because I'm going to sue your hand-me-down pants off, Bleacher.
That is what I strive to be. This insane spurging out over things like anatomy in comics, when cartoons like Clone High exist, that experiment with unique styles of art, when female characters like Aeon Flux become iconic due to their weird body shapes, or when Rob Liefeld enjoys a career despite how he drew Captain America's breasts, even though it may not be entirely anatomically incorrect. It's okay to dismiss what seems like malicious or bad faith criticism, especially criticism meant to put you down and inflate the ego of the one giving the criticism. As artists, we're all subject to criticism. Not everyone's art is perfect. Even Ethan Van Sciver's art has been shown to be deficient and erroneous in its anatomy, errors that even Dan Lawless could not fix. It took little old me to point out that both men were off. And even if that was the case, so what? Shouldn't the entertainment value of the book be more important? That's what I strive for my first issues of Pumpkin Warpatch. And if you enjoyed this video, and you want to support what I do, please kindly consider donating to my Kickstarter campaign. You can do a simple pledge of $1, or consider backing the books themselves. It would be a great Christmas gift from you all. Thank you all for making 2025 a memorable year for me on my YouTube venture, as well as challenging me artistically and going for broke in what I believe in. I have a feeling 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. Thank you all and take care.